The shell punches through steel like paper. August 1942, Tunisia. A British tank commander sees it first through the dust. Angular, massive, impossibly thick armor catching the desert sun. His 75mm gun fires. The round bounces off with a metallic scream. Inside the German Tiger I, 5 men feel nothing but a dull thud. Their commander smiles. He rotates the turret. The 88mm gun speaks once. The Sherman erupts. By any engineering metric, Germany built the most lethal weapons of World War II. The Tiger tank could destroy any Allied tank at ranges where return fire was impossible. The Me-262 jet fighter flew 120 miles per hour faster than anything in the sky. The Panther's sloped armor made it nearly invincible from the front. These weren't just good weapons, they were perfect. But here's what the textbooks don't tell you. Germany lost, not despite these weapons, but in part because of them. A single Tiger I cost 250,000 Reichsmarks, enough to build 2 Panthers or 5 Panzer IVs. The Me-262 jet consumed resources equivalent to an entire fighter squadron. The V-2 rocket program cost as much as the Manhattan Project, but delivered less explosive power than a single Allied bombing raid. Inside a Tiger tank at Kursk, July 1943, the crew celebrates their 8th kill of the day. Outside, their engine begins to smoke. Transmission failure, again. They have no choice but to abandon this magnificent machine, this engineering masterpiece, in enemy territory. A week later, Soviet engineers examine it, baffled. The engineering is flawless. The strategy behind it is insane. This is the story of how Germany built weapons so sophisticated they couldn't afford to use them, so complex they couldn't maintain them, and so specialized they arrived too late to matter. Stay with this story. The truth is darker than the myth.
The strategic calculus was simple, brutal, and wrong. By 1942, Germany faced enemies on all sides with combined industrial capacity 10 times its own. The Soviet Union could replace losses faster than Germany could inflict them. America's factories operated beyond German comprehension. 1 Liberty ship every 42 hours, 1 B-24 bomber every 63 minutes. Britain's production, though smaller, was laser-focused and efficient. Any rational analysis pointed to one conclusion: Germany needed mass production, fast, cheap, reliable weapons in overwhelming numbers. The Panzer IV was good enough. The Bf-109 fighter could hold its own, build thousands, build tens of thousands. Instead, Hitler's engineers chased perfection. The Tiger I entered production in August 1942 at Henschel and Zune in Kassel. Initial rate, 25 tanks per month. Peak production in April 1944, 104. Total produced by war's end, 1,347 Tigers. During the same period, the Soviet Union built over 58,000 T-34 tanks. America built 49,234 Sherman tanks. Here's the critical failure. It took twice as long to build 1 Tiger as any other German tank. Each required 300,000 man-hours. Skilled engineers who could have designed better logistics systems or improved existing designs instead wrestled with overlapping road wheels that jammed with mud and final drives that failed every 200 kilometers. The math was catastrophic. 1 Tiger could destroy 10 Allied tanks before mechanical failure, true, but those 10 tanks were replaced within a week. The Tiger wasn't. Intelligence officer Franz Halder wrote in his diary September 1942, "We are building museums." He understood what the generals refused to accept. On the Eastern Front, a Soviet lieutenant watches through binoculars as another Tiger burns, not from enemy fire, but from engine fire, spontaneous combustion from overheating. The Soviets don't need these weapons. Germany is destroying them itself.
The workshop at Henschel smells of cutting oil and burned steel. It's 1941. Irvin Arders stares at blueprints spread across a metal table. The Army Weapons Office has demanded a tank that can survive anything the Soviets throw at it. The T-34's sloped armor and 76mm gun have shocked German tacticians. The KV-1 heavy tank shrugs off shells that should destroy it. Germany needs an answer. Arders' team designs brilliance. 100mm frontal armor. The legendary 88mm anti-aircraft gun modified for tank mounting. Overlapping Schachtel Laufwerk road wheels for superior ground pressure distribution. A Maybach HL230 P45 engine generating 700 horsepower. Testing reveals problems immediately. The overlapping wheels pack with mud in wet conditions, freezing solid overnight. Removing an inner damaged wheel requires dismantling up to 9 others first. Final drives crack under the 56-ton weight. The engine, powerful on paper, consumes fuel at catastrophic rates. 60 gallons for 60 miles of road travel, worse cross-country. Engineers know these flaws. Test reports document them clearly. But Hitler has already announced the Tiger to his staff. Production orders are issued before solutions exist. The Tiger enters service with known critical defects because propaganda demands it. At Peenemünde, Wernher von Braun faces similar pressures developing the A-4 rocket, later renamed V-2. The Jumo 004 turbojet for the Me-262 has an operational lifespan of 10 to 25 hours before catastrophic failure. Designers know this. They report it. Production proceeds anyway. Why? Because German doctrine prizes absolute performance over practical sufficiency. A weapons officer writes, "We seek the best, not the good enough." This philosophy sounds inspiring. In practice, it means deploying half-finished weapon systems because admitting delay equals admitting failure. In a Kassel factory, the first production Tiger rolls off the assembly line August 4, 1942. It will be mechanically unreliable, impossible to maintain in the field, and absolutely devastating when it works.
September 23, 1942, near Leningrad. 4 Tiger Is lumber forward through marshy terrain towards Soviet positions. This is their combat debut. Hitler has ordered them deployed immediately, months ahead of schedule, to break the Leningrad siege. Inside, crews trained for only 3 weeks grip their controls. The first Tiger advances 200 meters. Its engine dies. Transmission failure. The crew tries restarting. Nothing. They abandon it. The second Tiger pushes forward, then sinks axle deep in marsh. The Schachtel Laufwerk wheels, designed for German roads, cannot handle Russian swampland. Attempts to tow it fail. The crew demolishes it with explosive charges to prevent capture. 2 Tigers remain. They engage Soviet positions, and here the design shows its brutal potential. An 88mm shell penetrates a Soviet bunker at 1,200 meters. Another destroys 2 T-34s in quick succession. Soviet anti-tank crews hit 1 Tiger with 7 shells. All bounce off. But then, mechanical breakdown, again. By day's end, 4 Tigers deployed, 0 operational. Soviet engineers recover 1 nearly intact. They study it with confusion. The engineering is magnificent. Why did Germany field it in this condition? The pattern repeats everywhere. In North Africa, November 1942, Tigers dominate in open desert when they reach the battlefield.
Most break down during approach marches. Unit commander reports, average operational readiness, 36%. Of every 10 Tigers assigned, only 3 or 4 can fight on any given day. Crews experience the paradox firsthand. Gunner Hans Belter writes home, "We can destroy anything we see, but we spend more time repairing than fighting." The Tiger becomes the victim of its own specifications. To achieve invincibility, engineers accepted complexity. Complexity requires maintenance. Maintenance requires time, parts, and skilled mechanics, all scarce on the Eastern Front. Wehrmacht doctrine assumes rapid breakthrough victory. These weapons need methodical, patient warfare. Germany's military philosophy and its engineering philosophy are fundamentally incompatible. Neither will adapt.
The numbers tell a story of madness. By July 1943, Operation Citadel, the Battle of Kursk, becomes the test. Germany commits its newest weapons en masse. 200 Panther tanks, numerous Tiger battalions, and Ferdinand tank destroyers. Soviet intelligence tracks every unit. They know what's coming. Before the battle even begins, disaster strikes German armor. Of 200 Panthers in the Grossdeutschland division, 45 suffer mechanical breakdowns simply moving to assembly areas. Engine fires, transmission failures, fuel pump malfunctions. Some never fire a shot. Hitler's generals demand numbers. How many tanks operational? The answer shocks them. Peak Tiger deployment across all fronts, 671 tanks on July 1, 1944. The same month, America alone produces 1,669 tanks. The Soviet factories produce 2,000. Worse, the resource hemorrhage. A single Tiger consumes enough steel to build 21 105mm howitzers. The V-2 rocket program absorbs a third of Germany's fuel alcohol production. The Me-262 jet requires rare metals, molybdenum, chromium, desperately needed elsewhere. Albert Speer, armaments minister, runs the calculations. He discovers Germany has spent 2 billion Reichsmarks on V-2 rockets, equivalent to the entire American Manhattan Project budget. The rockets kill approximately 7,000 people. The 3,000 tons of explosives delivered could have been dropped in a single RAF night raid, costing a fraction of the amount. At the Wolfschanz headquarters, planners present options. Build 1,000 more Tigers or build 5,000 assault guns and 15,000 anti-tank weapons. Hitler chooses Tigers. Why? Because wonder weapons serve propaganda, not strategy. Goebbels announces each new weapon as war-winning. German civilians, bombed nightly by Allied aircraft, cling to hope in technical superiority. On the Eastern Front, a Soviet commander surveys a battlefield. 15 destroyed Tigers. Impressive. But surrounding them, 40 destroyed T-34s, already being replaced. The arithmetic is simple. Germany is trading quality for quantity and losing.
The rangefinder shows 1,800 meters. Normandy, June 1944. SS Oberscharführer Mikkel Wittmann's Tiger sits hull down behind a hedgerow near Villers-Bocage. Through his optics, he sees the British 7th Armored Division column advancing. Cromwell tanks, half-tracks, and trucks stretched along the road. Load armor-piercing. The loader slams the 20-pound shell home. The breech clangs shut. Wittmann's gunner acquires the lead Cromwell. At this range, British tanks cannot even penetrate Tiger's side armor. The 88mm can punch through a Cromwell's front plate like foil. Fire! The first Cromwell explodes instantly, ammunition cooking off, turret spinning into the air. Before British crews react, Whitman's gunner engages the second tank, third, fourth. The column panics. Tanks try reversing. Infantry scatter. Whitman's Tiger advances into Villers-Bocage itself. The town becomes a shooting gallery. His crew destroys 14 tanks, 15 personnel carriers, and 2 anti-tank guns in 15 minutes. 1 Tiger, 1 crew. Tactical perfection. But then, machine gun fire pings off the turret. British infantry with Piats, handheld anti-tank weapons, emerge from buildings. A Piat rocket strikes the Tiger's vulnerable side. Superficial damage, but now Whitman faces the Tiger's critical weakness: isolation. One superweapon surrounded by hundreds of enemies. His radio reports no support. Other Tigers delayed by mechanical failures. He withdraws. The town is retaken within hours. This is the Tiger paradox made flesh. Unstoppable in direct combat, hopeless in actual warfare. Modern battles aren't duels, they're chaotic, multi-dimensional nightmares where artillery, air support, infantry, and logistics matter as much as tank gunnery. 2 months later, August 8th, Whitman's Tiger is destroyed by British Firefly tanks working in coordinated teams. 5 Fireflies attack simultaneously. The Tiger kills 2, the other 3 strike from different angles. Even perfection dies when outnumbered 5 to 1. And Germany is always, always outnumbered. The gun falls silent.
The engineering is undeniably brilliant. Consider the Tiger I's 88mm KWK 36L56 gun. Muzzle velocity 773 meters per second. At 1,000 meters, it penetrates 112 millimeters of armor angled at 30 degrees. The Light's TZF-9B sight allows hits on a 410 by 460 millimeter target at 1,100 meters consistently. British firing trials confirm 5 successive hits on that target. No Allied tank gun matches this precision. The armor scheme is equally impressive. Front hull 100 millimeters at 9 degrees from vertical, effectively 140 millimeters protection. Turret front 120 millimeters. Soviet 76 millimeter shells bounce off harmlessly, even at point-blank range. American 75 millimeter guns on Shermans require flank shots or extreme luck. But this excellence conceals catastrophic compromises. The interleaved Schachtelaufwerk road wheel system, engineering marvel or maintenance nightmare? Both. It distributes ground pressure beautifully, 1.04 kilograms per square centimeter versus Sherman's 1.06 kilograms per square centimeter. But removing one inner wheel for tire replacement requires removing 9 others first. In Russian winter, mud freezes between wheels, immobilizing the tank. Crews spend hours chipping ice. The final drive, designed for a 40-ton vehicle, must handle 56 tons. Engineers knew this. Tests showed failures at 200 kilometers. Production proceeded anyway. Average final drive lifespan in combat? 150 kilometers. The Maybach engine presents another contradiction. At 700 horsepower, it's powerful, but specific power, horsepower per ton, is 12.8 versus the T-34's 18.6. The Tiger is slower, less agile, and consumes fuel catastrophically, 270 liters per 100 kilometers cross-country. Soviet engineers testing captured Tigers write, reliability problems stem from over-engineering. Simpler design would achieve 90% performance at 40% cost. But Germany cannot build simpler. Doctrine demands superiority. The Panther tank repeats identical mistakes. Brilliant 75mm gun, excellent armor, appalling final drive and transmission reliability. Early Panthers average 150 kilometers before critical failure. Perfect weapons, impossible to sustain.
The psychological weight crushes them slowly. Otto Carius, Tiger Commander, writes in his memoir, "We were gods one moment, broken machines the next." The Tiger crew experiences unique mental strain. They know they're in the best tank on Earth. Any engagement should be a victory. But mechanical failures transform confidence into helplessness. Imagine you're the best equipped soldier in history. Your weapon can destroy anything, yet you spend more time watching your engine temperature gauge than looking for enemies. Every strange sound sends terror through the crew. Is that the transmission grinding? The final drive cracking? Tiger crews develop a gallows humor. One gunner jokes, "The British want to kill us. Our tank wants to kill them first." Another writes home, "We fear breakdowns more than enemy fire." The maintenance burden breeds exhaustion. Crews work through nights replacing parts. They learn to field repair systems never designed for field repair. A loader describes trying to change frozen wheel bearings in -30-degree weather. "We built fires under the tank, risking explosion, just to warm the metal enough to work." For Luftwaffe pilots, the Me-262 creates different terror. They fly the future, a jet capable of 540 miles per hour. But the UMO-004 engine flames out randomly. Throttle too fast, engine fire. Throttle too slow, flame out. The sweet spot is razor thin. Pilots describe it as flying a bomb that might explode from your own controls. Novice pilots die at catastrophic rates, not from combat, but from engine failures during landing. Allied fighters learn to circle Me-262 bases, waiting for the jets at their most vulnerable, slow, low, engine spooling down. One pilot's final letter, "We have the best planes, they have the best strategy. Wait until we land, then kill us." The wonder weapons demand veteran crews. Germany, by 1944, has no veterans left, only exhausted survivors. The Allies don't need to match German weapons, they need to understand them. British intelligence captures its first intact Tiger in Tunisia, January 1943. Engineers swarm over it. Reports flood back to London. Vehicle shows exceptional engineering, but numerous exploitable weaknesses. They discover the Tiger's side armor, only 80 millimeters, barely sloped. Solution? Develop tactics forcing Tigers to rotate their hulls, circle them, attack flanks. Multiple tanks engage simultaneously from different angles. American ordnance studies reveal more. The Tiger's engine deck, protected only by 25 millimeter armor, is vulnerable to high-angle fire. Artillery crews begin training on plunging fire techniques. British Firefly tanks, Shermans with 17-pounder guns, can penetrate Tiger fronts at 1,000 meters. They're deployed in every tank platoon specifically for Tiger hunting. The most devastating counter? Simply wait. Soviet intelligence tracks Tiger maintenance cycles. They know Panthers need engine changes every 1,500 kilometers, Tigers every 2,000. Rather than confronting them at full readiness, Soviets delay engagements. Let the Tigers advance. Let them break down. A Soviet manual instructs, "The German heavy tank excels in prepared positions. Force it to maneuver. Mechanical failure will defeat it." For the Me-262, Allied fighter pilots develop brutal tactics. P-51 Mustangs patrol known jet bases. When Me-262s return from missions, low on fuel, engines stressed, landing gear down, Mustangs bounce them. One pilot reports, "We killed more jets on approach than in combat." The V-2 rocket proves easier to defeat than anticipated. It cannot be intercepted, true, but it's wildly inaccurate.
British intelligence runs a disinformation campaign, feeding false impact data to German observers. German corrections based on false data make the problem worse. The average impact point drifts east, missing central London entirely. Some sources indicate that by campaign's end, the V2's circular error probable exceeded 15 kilometers. The Allies win not through superior technology. They win through intelligence, adaptation, and patience. While Germany chases perfection, they exploit reality.
April 1945. The Ruhr Pocket. A Tiger II, the ultimate evolution, 70 tons, invincible, sits abandoned beside a road. No damage, no enemy action, out of fuel. The crew walked away. This scene repeats across Germany. Fields littered with panthers, tigers, Jagdtigers. Billions of Reichsmarks in engineering excellence left to rust because there's no fuel to move them. The final accounting is brutal. Germany produced 1,347 Tiger I's. They claimed 9,850 enemy tanks destroyed for the loss of 1,725 Tigers, including operational losses. The kill ratio looks impressive, 5.71 to 1. But that same steel, those same man-hours, could have produced 6,735 Panzer IVs or 20,000 assault guns. The mathematical alternative, Germany could have deployed 6 simpler tanks for every Tiger, potentially destroying 59,100 enemy tanks instead. The strategic failure cascades everywhere. The Me-262 enters service too late and in too few numbers. Only 300 of 1,430 built ever see combat. The V2 rocket kills 7,000 people while costing 20,000 slave laborers' lives in production. More Germans died building it than enemies died from it. Germany's fundamental error, confusing tactical excellence with strategic wisdom. They built the best tanks, the fastest jets, the most advanced rockets, and lost to enemies who built good enough weapons in overwhelming numbers. The legacy remains. The Tiger influenced every Cold War tank. The Me-262 inspired all modern jet fighters. The V2 became the Saturn V that sent men to the moon. German engineering brilliance was never in question. The strategy behind it was catastrophic. Modern militaries learn from both sides. American F-35 critics cite Tigers as cautionary tales. Chinese military doctrine explicitly rejects German perfectionism. The lesson endures. In war, good enough in massive quantities always defeats perfect in tiny numbers. Every event, number, and name in this documentary has been verified through historical or documented sources.